Wonderful, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. It's a real honor for me to be here with Habib Babacan. My name is Moritz Schwarz. I'm a climate economist at the University of Oxford. I mostly look at climate change from an economics point of view. I look at future climate change, at the impact of climate change, but also one major aspect of my work is in utilities policy and mitigation policy for big utilities and energy companies. So because you're probably not here to hear my introduction of all of this, but to hear Habib speak about his experience and his life in the energy industry, let me just give you a really, really quick introduction of what we're doing today and then of Habib himself. So we've got about 40 minutes in this meet an expert discussion where first Habib is going to give us a little bit of an insight of what he does, a small presentation about the company he works for and where he sees the energy industry going in this field. But then really we're hoping to get as many people and as many questions from you guys in as possible. So please do use the chat. Please ask for the floor to ask questions. I'm very happy for you to do that during the talk as well, and I'll be happy to incorporate them at this point. There are not too many questions. I have a few of my own, but now let me sort of get started with a quick introduction from Habib. I hope you'll excuse my butchering of Turkish university names, but Habib graduated from Boğaziçi University, which I've translatedly seen means the Bosphorus University, with a degree in civil engineering. Is that roughly correct? Or
yeah, Bosphorus University, you may say in English. Bosphorus
University then at least, absolutely. Then he did an MBA from Koç University, which I hope is a little bit more accurate. Habib has been working in the energy industry now for nearly 20 years. Worked in renewables for 13 years now, and is now the managing director for the Turkey and Middle East region for Nordex Group, which he'll tell us much more about. And before that, he worked in financial services for the energy and renewables sector, as well as for petrol, Turkey Petrol. So let me turn it over here to Habib, because that's who you really came to listen to. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking the time on behalf of the organizers. And anyone who'd like to ask some questions, please put it in the chat. Try to notify to me that you'd like to speak, and we'll have this be a conversation as much as possible. Habib, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I will start with presentation, and let me share my screen with you. And when you saw the screen, please tell me. Now you are okay, right?
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah, we can see.
Yeah. Again, welcome everyone. In my speech, I will talk about briefly Nordex Group worldwide and what Nordex is doing, but I will not spend too much time on it. Then I will take my time with my personal career, and I will discuss briefly about myself. Yes, Nordex Group. And the Nordex is global manufacturer of the onshore wind turbines, and it's 35 years of history. And we merged with the Spanish group of Acciona in 2016. And we are having 4.3 million euro revenue and around 10% global market share. And we have around 90 different nationalities within the companies, around 8,500 people. So we are in over 40 countries around the world where Nordex turbines are running at the moment. So this is the global production footprint, I can say. We are in the Europe, South America, and also Asia. So what we are doing in Nordex, we are producing the wind turbines. We have the factories, as you saw in the previous slide, and we are bringing them to the site, and we are erecting them, and we are commissioning them, and we are giving the services. I mean, from the production of the machines until the service period, we are all in the business as a turbine manufacturer. So this is what I can say for the Nordics. It's one of the biggest global turbine manufacturer for the onshore wind farms. So when it comes to Turkey, we are in the middle of the Asia and Europe as a country. And when it comes to Nordics in Turkey, we are in the market leader in Turkey with 27% market share, around 3,000 megawatt installed capacity. We have been employed 350 people in Turkey, and this is the fourth biggest office in Global Nordics organization. This is what we're proud. The first office is the Germany, then the second is Spain, the third one is the US, and the fourth one is the Nordics Turkey. And what we are doing in Turkey, we have the suppliers and the blade production, tower production, generator production, and the anchor cage production are done in Turkey. Some of them are went to the Germany to put them into the and some of them are directly delivered to the sites, and the blades and towers we are also exporting to the other countries through the Turkish sub-suppliers to the other Nordex plants around the world. So when it comes to the operation, we have more than 80 wind parks in Turkey with 60 different customers, and we have approximately 1,000 turbines in all around Turkey. So this is the footprint, and mostly wind parks is accumulated in the western part of the Turkey, where the wind is highest compared to the rest of the Turkey. But we are also slowly moving to the east side of the Turkey as well. So like now we are running the sites. This is under construction wind farm, and as I said, in the August we are going to erect our 1,000 turbine in Turkey. So about Turkey and what we are doing in Turkey when it comes to my side, and this will be the most appropriate for the purpose of this meeting. I will discuss about myself. So let's start with education. I am graduate from the high school. This is Science High School, and this Science High School, one of the special schools in Turkey, and it was a project maybe 30 or 40 years ago. So this is highly concentrated on the science and math. So I was one of the graduates of this special project schools. It was a boarding school. Boarding school means pension with school with the pension. So I was days when I starting. I was 13 when I started to this school. So boarding school is a different and interesting story, and almost each of my friends has a courage, self-confidence, and independence if they spend this teenage times in the boarding school. This is the red ones. In the next slides, you will see the some aspects that I want during my experiences in the education. You will see. So after graduation from the high school, I went to the Boğaziçi University, another name in English, Bosphorus University. This is the top university in Turkey, so I studied civil engineering there. But this university is also a very social university, so I attended a lot of student clubs. And student clubs means the socialization, networking with the other people, other disciplines, and you learn a lot of things from the other colleagues, not from your area of interest, but also you are intertouching with the other disciplines you haven't known before during the high school times or the childhood times. And also it is a very this what the university brings to me. And after the engineering study, I did a MBA in the Koç University. This is another reputable university, but this is a private university. After having the math and science background during the high school, education during the university, shifting a little bit to more social area and learning about the business administration is something different. So what I can say, the MBA degree brings to me different mindset. As I said, MBA shapes your mind differently. I mean, you are working on the concrete structure, or you are working on the machine. But if you don't know how to market it and how to price it, or what is the costing of producing such machine or the concrete building, it has no sense if you don't make it marketable, or if you don't make it sellable to the market. So a MBA degree brings this mindset to me. So I mixed up my engineering and the math skills with the business administration skills. So it made a good combination. What I would like to mention also during my MBA degree to everybody, I did 4 interns during the 2 years of time. I mean, it was an investment firm, so I worked on the equity research, and the other one is the PwC. It's worldwide known company, and the Sony Electronics. I worked on the marketing side, and also L'Oreal Cosmetics. I work on the finance side. So, as an advice to everybody, these interns are very important. For me at that time, it was very important to understand the different companies. I mean, you see the different companies, all of them are from the different industries, and I work on the different work fields. So at the beginning of your career, you are getting taste of each and different departments in different industries. So at the time of 20 or 21, 22, you are not expected to know which industry is doing what, but these interns are very valuable opportunity for students to understand yourself and also the businesses, and also within the businesses, different work fields has different. I mean, if you may work in the renewable industry, but if you are working in a department which you never like, it doesn't mean that you are enjoying from the renewable industry. So you have to understand yourself and which area you are best fit, and also you have to work. I mean, you have to understand yourself which industry you have to work. I mean, which one is best for you. This is good opportunity to learn to which area to concentrate on. So after my education, I will continue with my business experience, and I will experience. And after my marketing department, next year after my graduation, I started Sony Turkey. And in Sony Turkey, I spent my 3 years. You may think about this kind of trainee or management trainee kind of person, but this is my wish, and also in the need of the company, areas of the company. So for some, this is a little bit complex. It seems you never put your name, which department you are going to work. But for me, different departments within the same company, it brings you different angles how to execute a business. After a couple of years, you work different departments. You know, you have more general understanding what's going on in the company, and you may develop more ideas about the business development within the company. After Sony experience, I went to the military service. This is a compulsory service in Turkey. So I was the lieutenant for civil works, and it was 1 year. So this was a great, good break for me. So I mean, for choosing the civil works or being the lieutenant, this is not depends on your choice. It is rather how the state decides for you. But on the other hand, this is a very, very good time to think about yourself and what you are doing, what I am heading for, what career expectation I have, who am I, this kind of questionings. And this time of 1 year was a good time for me to question these things. So during this questioning, it was a turning point for me to change my career from electronics or the consumer thing to another thing. This is going to be energy, as you wish, as you imagine. A key question during this turning point: how can I create a value rather than just execute a business? I mean, you learn how to execute a business. This is something valuable, but are you creating something? Are you just trading something? This was a question that I was asking myself during this turning point. Then I asked these questions, and I said, I mean, I should rather create a value rather than executing a business, just making some money in the business. So then I shifted my career to the Turkas Petrol. This is an investing company, and at that time they were at the beginning of developing new wind farms from scratch. So in this area, you are selecting a land from the map, and you are going to the site, and you are seeing the site, and you are making some measurements. So very, very at the beginning, you are at the beginning of the idea generation. This is very valuable. I mean, if your idea generation is not good, then everything will be bad in the later steps of the project. So idea generation is not enough. It was a boss company, and you have to have the investment perspective as well. I mean, the idea is good, but it should make money in the future. So this is what I learned during the 6 years in my career in the Turkas Petrol. So I almost 100% focused greenfield wind farms in this company. And later on, I moved to the other side of the table. During my experience in the Turkas, I was also getting the offers from the Nordex. So Nordex is other side of the tables, and after the 6 years, I moved to the Nordex, and I worked on the sales and business development. So sale of the wind turbines was one of my main tasks. And think about yourself: you are selling the turbines and getting millions of dollars from your customers. So during this negotiation period, or during this signature period, you have to be convincing, and you have to have the good negotiation skills, and the customer will come a lot of different requests, and you have to develop your patience in front of the customer. And during my first part of my career in the Nordex, I can say I take the responsibility of the risky tasks. There were some risky tasks. So, and these risky tasks, if you complete it, it brings you the performance and recognition within the company, not only within the subsidiary, but also in the global organization. And the last thing I can say for the people working in our organization, please help the others. And I try to help the others within the company, even if they are not in my area of expertise, or not within my own department. If you are helping the people in the organization, consequently, organization will support you in the future, or whether you need a support from the different people in unknown. So this helped me a lot. So spending almost 4 years at this role, another was promoted to the position of managing director. So this is my last slide. So in my managing director 2020, guess what? COVID-19 was the first thing. It as a challenge. This is a crisis management, motivation, hope. You have to motivate everybody within the organization, and you are driving. Another thing, 2020 was busiest year ever since 2009 in Turkey. So, and on top you have COVID, and you have to have the good coordination within the company, and you have to demonstrate a good leadership to everyone. And the growth in 2020, we hired almost 130 people into the company. So, and we have the COVID, nobody knows each other. And this is a very, very big change management need. And you have to keep the justice within the organization while growing. So another challenge during my managing director position. And also you have to give the direction to the people. Even you have the COVID and the busy year and the growth, but the future will come. So you have to have the vision and the leadership you have to show. And also, even if you are in the worst situation, you have to bring new ideas, never touch the areas. So you have to bring your creativity. This is what I can say. I mean, in all red letters, I mean, something take away from this presentation and my personal experience so far in my career. So thank you very much for listening me. And maybe the last word I can say, I mean, the COVID is all around the world, and hopefully it's going to finish in maybe next couple of months. This is what's said by the vaccine producers. But I will say, I mean, whatever the conditions are, please do continue to work towards your personal targets, because you will have the challenge all of your life. So we have to never give up towards our personal targets, and we have to continue to work slowly, but fast. Doesn't matter, but please continue to work towards your personal targets. This will end up very, very close to the. So this is end of my presentation, Mortiz. So we may come back to the discussion round.
Habib, thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving us such a great insight into what you do, into how you think, and what has allowed you to progress to that incredible position that you're now in. I especially like the aspect of supporting people within the same organization, even if they're not super directly related in terms of their business relations to you. I think that is so crucial, and it's difficult to see the immediate effect of that, but the long-term effects of those are incredible. Now, wonderful. So thank you so much. I would now like to invite everyone who's been listening, who had some thoughts, maybe had some comments, maybe had some questions. So we have a question from Fidele, whether you would be able to share your slides in here. I'm not quite sure whether there's a way of doing that centrally, but Habib, would you be willing to share your slides?
Yes, I can share these slides, no problem. But I will people. Then I don't know how to.
Wonderful.
Distribute it.
So we'll try to relate. We'll try to relate that through the organizing team. Thank you, Fidele. Would anyone like to shoot off with a question, please? I think there's an ability to raise a hand, and I can give you the floor. Yeah. So now I can add you. Yep. Did that work? Yeah, there we go. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So 1 sec. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Yeah, we can hear you.
Cool. Thank you. My name is Fidel. I'm from Rwanda, and it's my pleasure to meet you. Just to jump in straight as a question, as we're talking about energy transition, we've learned a lot from what's happening in this And one of the lessons for me I learned is that if we don't work together to save the environment, we'll be all extinct. So it doesn't matter you are in Austria or you are in Rwanda. So we're in this ship together. So my question to our speaker today is, what do you think is the most critical or important action that is required for everyone here? We've talked to the policymakers, to the politicians. They take long to understand us, but to the young people here, to anyone who can take immediate action now, what will be your immediate action you think that everyone can do now for our energy transition or just general climate action? Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Habib, please. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, something for the specific for the energy industry. I mean, developing energy plant. I mean, I am talking about from the energy plant investments or the energy generation perspective. So there are different fields in the energy transition. So I don't have deep knowledge about the other parts, but I can only talk about the energy generation. And the energy generation is coming from the different fields, from renewable, from the conventional sources. But any energy plant in the world planning takes years. I mean, we have wind farms. Getting the permits, bringing turbine to the field takes 15 years. 15 years is not a small time. I mean, we are talking about from the environmental perspective, but there are some other perspectives from the agricultural perspective. People has rights on those lands. I mean, solving those problems is not that easy. So, and if you think about the conventional plants also, I mean, construction or the planning time of those plants takes several years. So I mean, changing the energy origination from the conventionals to the 100% renewable side will take years because of the. I mean, if you take a decision, if you have a good policy, reflection will take years. I mean, this is by nature of the investment, developing the project. Starting from the wind measurements, after the wind measurement, having the wind farm there took 5 years. So this from the energy generation perspective take in a second, in a day. So it will take time. So right policies, if they are not played, will give the fruits in the next 3 to 5 years. At least we have to wait this time. But if you ask me what is the immediate action that we may advise to the people, policymakers in each and every country should, I mean, from the generation perspective I am talking about, should consider their energy production mix, and should implement the policies that will increase their renewable portion in the future with a certain percentage. I mean, we cannot put strict rules each and every country. They have the different objectives as well, but at least they have to be on the path. This is what I can say. I mean, if there are countries, if they are not on the path, we have to, I mean, impose or advise something to those countries, a path for the future. What I can say from the general.
Wonderful.
But there should be some in the different areas related with the consumption. But
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you as well for the question. I would like to invite some other questions and comments. Perhaps questions that you've had about your personal motivation or your personal career moving forward in the energy industry. anything? Anyone else would like to take the floor quickly? Again, I think you're able to raise the hand if you'd like. Okay, I can't see anyone raising a hand. Please feel free to do so at any time.
Modi, may I say something?
Yes, of course, please.
Yeah, I'm happy with the answer that you provided on the question I asked. So I've been thinking about this for a while ago, and I think it's been quite a long discussion where people are like, what can we do now? Because if we talk about clean tech technologies coming in, we have this. But the most important thing for me, I think, is even the local people, everyone who doesn't know about climate change, or who is not into this area, the most important thing, I think, is for us to educate ourselves about the impact that our planet.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you're living in, where are you speaking from?
I'm speaking from Austria, and I think Habib from Turkey.
Exactly. So
yes.
we in different parts of the world. If you calculate your carbon footprint in your area and mine, it's quite different, and it's all depend on the resources we consume, what we eat, how we move, how we travel, everything like that. So for me, I think educating ourselves and informing ourselves, if I change what I eat, if I change how I travel, I think that will make huge impact. So as I conclude, I've made a video about that, and I've just put in the chat box, and everyone who is here can watch it, and thank you very much.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that, and please do take a look after this session. We've had a question in the chat from Ashish. I hope I'm pronouncing that name halfway correctly, and it sort of plays into the question of where is our energy industry going in the future, and where does the cost effectiveness for renewable energy compare with fossil-based infrastructure. And obviously, there's been huge dynamics in the past on terms of the cost coming down for solar and wind. Habib, would you be able to give us a little bit of your perspective of where you see the energy industry going, and as well, for young people, for people who are just starting out their careers, which type of sort of skills and jobs they should be looking for?
Yeah. Maybe if this question comes maybe 15 or 20 years ago, so I can say that renewable was more, I mean, there is a comparable metric in the industry. This is the how much you are investing or spending for produce 1 kilowatt-hour energy. This is called as the cost of energy. So, and if this question comes maybe 20 years ago, the renewable solar and the wind was the expensive one. But now, now the values for per kilowatt hour cost of energy is really comparable with the conventional. I mean, I am talking about from the investment perspective. But even if you have the slight difference in the renewable side, which is a little bit higher than the conventional source, for the conventional source, you have to have the fuel, which can be the natural gas or the coal, and you have to bring this all the time to produce the energy. So if you look at from the OPEX sides, OPEX of the plants is always higher than the renewable plants. So for the solar and the wind, there is no fuel cost, and you are not affected from the fuel supply, and you are only depends on the nature. So, and even if there is a slight difference, I'm not sure about the sources, but if you look at the global numbers, each and every year, solar and the wind investment is higher than the conventional investment. So this is proving that the renewables are slightly, not slightly, but has a major advantage compared to non-conventional source. So maybe the last word to answer the questions, if answer to the or advice to the young colleagues, I mean the renewable will continue to grow in the coming future in the next maybe 20 or 30 years, and we are not we are in the very speedy period, but this will continue in another 20 years. So if you find a job in the renewable industry, in the wind industry, maybe in the Nordics or maybe in the competitors, doesn't matter. Please take your position and work for the renewable industry. So we will have. This is proven from my career. I mean, 13 years ago I was an engineer. Now I am MD of the company. Within the 13 years and being a MD of the company with 400 people, will definitely show us how the sector is growing. If your sector or industry is not growing, you may not able to get the position in soon time.
So wonderful. We have only 2 minutes left until we, I think, need to wrap up. But there's two more questions that came in from Adegoke and Satrio. Again, apologies for the name. The first one is sort of, the first one is how much do you see other aspects of skills? You used to be, you obviously came up from an engineering point of view, but sort of how much do you see the data science and the data analysis point coming up in the energy industry? And at the same time, where do you see the energy industry going in developing countries like Asia, Indonesia, etc.? Do you have any last sort of remarks on that before we wrap up?
Yeah, for the data science, I mean, there is a lot of data is in the backyard of the company. I mean, all these machines are smart machines, and they are producing data, and they have the performance. I mean, inside of company, we have a big department analyzing for those data, and when the future comes, these turbines will be more and more smart. So we have I see the future for the data science people in the backstage of the company, working on these intelligent reactions to the conditions. When it comes to developing countries, I mean, the renewable energy will be the lifesaver for the developing countries like the Asian ones, because you are not tied to the fuel, coal and the natural gas, and you have the machine, and if you are managed to operate that machine in a proper condition, it will generate electricity. And already in China, this solved a lot of problems in the remote locations, and this will help also to the Asian countries and in the developing countries. And the industry's future will come from those countries, and more develop in those countries in the coming 10 years. This is I can say.
Wonderful. Habib, it is 11 o'clock European time. So all that is left for me to do is to thank you and thank everyone who joined us for this session. As we mentioned, we'll try to share the slides as well as we can. I think this session was recorded, but please join me in at least virtually thanking Habib for taking his time. And thank you everyone for joining. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of this Vienna Energy Forum. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I think you can all now head over, if you like, to this to the welcome remarks from Katharina Moser and Fatou Hadaira, who I think should be on the main stage. So hopefully see you guys all there. Wonderful.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.